I have my backdrop here is Muscle Shoals. It's actually behind me is Fame Recording Studios, but I didn't I just got this off the internet, but I didn't record this single at Fame, but I did record it in Muscle Shoals. I recorded at East Avalon recorders, and everything's close. It's all like, you know, in a relatively small area, and I've been to all the studios, and you know, you go out, and I saw Dan Penn play in a church, and you know,
Wow.
Rodney was there from Fame. I mean, it's everybody knows each other, and so yeah, it
Small
was.
world in the music with those musicians.
Yeah, and this particular single is an outlier from a lot of the rest of the record so far, because I went there after having recorded at home a lot of the record and didn't really know how it was shaping up. But pre-COVID, right before COVID, I graduated from audio engineering school, and so you know, I did some songwriting and, you know, a lot of writing during, you know, 2020 and then 2021. And then at the beginning of 2022, I started recording, you know, at home using my newfound knowledge. I'd start with little scrappy guitars and vocals, and, you know, it was really one instrument, one track at a time. Then I started sending things out to people. Someone I played with back in my 20s when I lived in London, who went on to, you know, play with Dire Straits and Paul McCartney, Chris Whitten. He was like, you know, I know you're tripping over drummers, but I, you know, would love to play drums on your record. So I'd send him tracks, and he'd send these great drum tracks, and I, you know, started sending some things out to like horn players and, you know, various people. I worked a little bit with Fernando Perdomo, who, you know, worked a lot with Jacob Dylan on the movie and doing some touring and TV shows. And he played guitar, and we did a couple of tracks in his studio. And David Goodstein played drums on a couple of them. And then really, as I started to get like 10 tracks, some of them were very simple, some of them were more band arranged. I started to realize I wanted to have a little more choice of what sound I was creating. Not so much in terms of fidelity, because I was happy with the sounds I was getting. I was recording things well, but putting it together piece by piece, I was like, so what is this record? And you know, what am I putting forth? And I just took the songs that I'd written and said, okay, I'm gonna make a record of this song. And then this is something that often happens. People will make a record, they don't really know what it is, and then halfway through the record, you can start to see what it is.
Yeah.
And then you want to experiment more, because you go, okay, I got these 7 rock solid songs that I love.
Yeah.
But what would happen if now that I know I have this foundation, what would happen if I went off on left field and just tried this other thing? So that was me. I needed to just step back from it. And a lot of time was going by, and people were saying, when's the record coming out? When are you doing this? At one point, I was really just frozen. It's like, I'm so tired of, you know, being in a room by myself. I don't know anything. And my friend Charles Holloman came to my studio, and he said, well, I got a week in Muscle Shoals. I'm going back there, because he was flying back and forth between there and working at Sunset Sound, and I just decided to take the leap, and I went there for a week at the end of last year, and overdubbed a lot of local musicians on the things I'd already started, and some of the things were really getting cohesive.